Hello everybody, my name is Greg Niemczuk and I'm a Polish pianist, concert pianist. Today I decided to record a video for you about something that many of you actually asked me during some of my live question and answer sessions or comments below my videos. Something about organizing work, planning the work and getting organized. The strategy of work, the strategy of practicing in my life is probably the most important thing. Is the key to success, is the key to successfully prepare all the programs for all the concerts that I have to play and that I have planned in my calendar. So this video is for all of you, all musicians actually, who want to get maybe some inspiration on how to plan your work, especially when you have many different pieces to play. Just a few words about my experience before we start. I had times in my life when I had concert tours in which I had to play 3 different programs, each program 90 minutes of music on one concert tour, everything from memory. And everything was, like one day I played one program, then the next day I played another program, then I played the first program again, then I played the third program, and so on during 2 or 3 weeks. Those times, well, I managed, I succeeded, but of course mostly because of very good strategy of work, which I'm going to share with you now. But now I don't accept this kind of concert tours because I think it's like committing suicide. It's too crazy. I was young. I was able to do it, but not anymore. But still, as a concert pianist, you never know who will call you, when you will get an invitation, what program people want you to play. Sometimes, of course, you decide programs, but not always. Still, I always have to have a very good plan. And now I'm in the process of preparing for my next concert tour, which will start in about 2 months. And I have also many other projects simultaneously, so I have to put everything in my plan. So what is the most important in making plan? I'm now talking about myself, I'm talking about my strategy. I would say prioritizing. First, ask yourself a question. What's the most important, of course, if you have any deadlines? And most of all, what is the most difficult? So what will take you the most time? If you have a teacher, if you get, for example, a new program from your teacher, I think it's very wise to ask the teacher if you get, if he gives you 5 new pieces to learn, ask him or her to do it for you. They have more experience in these pieces, so they can tell you what is the most difficult, what you should start from, what will take you the longest time to master. This is a key to success because we have to start from the most difficult pieces, the most complex pieces, the most complicated pieces, technically difficult pieces especially. So usually I start from big pieces, I start from fast pieces, because to learn how to think fast takes much more time than to play slower music. So for example, if I have to prepare a big piano sonata, I don't learn immediately the whole sonata. I only learn fast movements from this sonata, and I save slow movements for a little later if I have other pieces, fast pieces to play. So prioritizing is the first very important thing. Of course, second thing is how much time you can spend each day. Now the strategy about planning, well, there are many. I can give you a few of them. Especially I want to ask the question how to handle a big repertoire, how to handle many pieces at the same time. So as I said, there are a few of them, but definitely you have to plan ahead. If you have a concert if I have, for example, now a concert in 2 months, I try to write the dates, like deadlines for myself, when each of the pieces must be ready, like for 100% sure, for 100% memorized, and so that I can play it freely and I can play it for my friends, so that I can check myself, and I'm sure that it is, especially it's in my head, because I play everything from memory. This deadline, of course, is not one day before the concert, as you can imagine. It's much earlier. Usually I feel very safe when I know the program perfectly at least 1 month before. Then I have a very pleasant concert tour without any stress. But of course it's not always possible. But usually it is possible. So that's how I try to do. And knowing more or less, or guessing how much time I need for each of the pieces, that's how I plan. So first I have the strategy for 2 months. Then I have every Sunday I am writing a strategy for the whole week, which is based on my month strategy, right? So taking the priorities and practicing them first, and easier pieces I don't practice, for example, in this 1 week, and so on. But this is very important to have the weekly plan. And then either every morning or every evening the day before, I write very carefully how much time I want to spend on each piece, or, because there are 2 strategies, you have to also check what works for you. Either you decide exactly how much time you can spend on each piece, and you need to play all of them in this very day to feel safe. And it doesn't matter if you practice, for example, 8 bars because of some very difficult piece, and the alarm clock will start ringing because the time is over. No problem, because you have other pieces to do. So anyway, you made progress. You are better in this piece than you were before the practice session. So you should feel safe. Feeling safe is the most important thing in planning. You have to trust your plan. This is the most important. Make a plan that then you can rely on, and you know that if you make it, you will make it. You will be ready for your performances, or for your exams, or for whatever you prepare. So, as I said, this is one strategy, the exact time. Another strategy is to write down pieces that you need to focus on a certain day. If it happens that you run out of time and you couldn't practice some of the pieces that you wrote down, you have to postpone this piece for the next day, but you have to prioritize this piece next day. You have to start from the beginning, from this piece. And now I show you something that for me is extremely important. There are two ways and 2 things that I'm doing. This is one that I'm doing now, so you can see it, how it looks in the process, I would say. So here I wrote down every single piece that I have to prepare. Those are 2 programs actually. One is the solo program for my concert tour in Norway, and here is the piano duo program that I have to prepare for October and November. Those are the most important things that I must prepare, because I have programs. All the other pieces, like pieces that I want to analyze or pieces that I want to record on the CDs, are not included in this program, in this plan. I do them when I have some extra time. As you can see, it's a lot of pieces, but you have to know that when I have the Chopin Piano Sonata, for example, I write down every single movement separately. I even wrote here the time that I need for each piece, but this is not always exactly true. I did it for myself, but I don't really follow this, I must tell you. And now here I have the dates, I have days, right? And I do usually 2 weeks. Here we have 2 weeks, more or less. And then each day, of course, I do my planning like I told you before, and I cross, when I finish practicing some piece, I just cross it. And as you can see, after a few days, I can see exactly which pieces I didn't practice, so I should do, and it also gives me satisfaction when I see, oh yeah, I spent, like for example, Tuesday and Thursday and Saturday I spent on this very same pieces, and then I can feel the progress. But there are 2 more strategies that I want to share with you, which sometimes I'm also using, but not at this moment. The first one is, as I call it, the strategy ABC. ABC looks like this. I hope you see that. So we have like 3 boxes, let's call it like this: box A, box B, and box C. And you have to split all your pieces among those 3 boxes. And now, what is the idea? The idea is that the first day of, for let's say Monday, you practice A and B. So you have to, you have to write down these pieces that you can make it possible. You practice A and B on Monday. On Tuesday, you practice B and C. On the Wednesday, you practice C and A. And then on Thursday, again, you practice A and B. On Friday, B and C, and so on. This way, you have a constant, repetition of pieces that you practice. It works very well for me, and probably I'm going to do it starting from September, so that I am absolutely secure on every single piece that I want to perform. And the last one is that you simply write down all the pieces that you have to play. You can do it either in order of performance or prioritizing from the most difficult to the easiest one. But the idea is that you practice one piece, the first piece from the list, very carefully, and then when you are done, you practice the second one. When you are done, you practice the third one. When the time is over, you have no time, you stop, and then the next day you start from where you finished. And then during the days of practice, depends on how many pieces you have, you keep going and you finish the list, then you start again from the beginning. Sometimes it works also, depends on how many pieces you have, how many days you need for the repetition, and so on. There is another strategy which also is quite good, is that especially when you're a student and you still kind of, I would say, improve your techniques, you have many technical problems in the pieces, is that you take out from the certain pieces only the most difficult parts. You don't play the whole piece, you don't practice the whole piece, and you write them down, and you focus for, let's say, 80% of your practice time only on those difficult passages. It can even be sometimes like 16 bars from some piece, because those difficult parts, they need sometimes daily practice, they need a daily repetition, but remember that not every single bar from the piece needs everyday repetition. This is, I think, obvious, and you understand. Anyway, I think that's all I have now in my head. If you have any questions, write them down in the comments. You can also share with all of us your ideas of planning. I think that can be also very useful for others. And thank you for watching. I hope it was helpful, and I hope I finally answered thoroughly your questions that you asked me before. Thank you, and